this past weekend.
Hey, Theo. This is James from Omaha, Nebraska. And I'm calling because I've got a little bit of dark arts on my mind.
And I appreciate you calling, James. And I've been in Omaha, dude, and I've honestly masturbated outside of that city a couple times. And I'll do an update real quick. I've been struggling still with the adult masturbation. Touching myself, not others. And it's been, I'd been doing well, and then last night I fell off. I fell off that jerk wagon. But I'm trying to get back on it. I'm not giving up. And I just wanted to update and kind of come clean about that, and be out here where I am, But I appreciate you calling in here, James, with your dark arts issue. Here we go. Onward.
So I'm 21 years old. I have a girlfriend who I've been dating for about 3 years now.
Oh, wow. So that's that young love. And that's beautiful, man. If you're in young love, sometimes that's the love that's dangerous. People get murdered at that age in love, Onward.
It's a pretty serious relationship. I just see myself being with her the rest of my life. But
wow. And you know what? Good for you, man. Because that's brave, dude. That's bravery, bro. Onward.
There's this thing on my mind where, you see, I lost my virginity to her. I've never been sexually with another woman before.
Okay. So this is your lady. That's your girl. And that's called I think it's called a golden Oreo. When you've only had sex with one person and y'all are gonna, and you guys are together, and you guys are gonna, when you're married to somebody you only have had sex with one person, I'm pretty sure it's called a golden Oreo. Onward.
The same is it's not the same for her. She did not lose her virginity to me. She hooked up with several guys before she met me.
Okay. So she's a little bit more of a nutter butter, And that's okay, man. That's okay. Onward.
And so basically, I don't know how I feel about potentially spending the rest of my life with this woman and, not ever having sex with anybody else. Part of me thinks I should be okay with this. That perfect 1-0 record is probably something a lot of guys wish they had. But for me, it's just like, man, there's so much out there sexually, so many sexual experiences that I feel like, man, I might be missing out on,
And that's the end of the call. Wow. That's a big issue, a big question. Not an issue, sorry. That's a big question. It's a big call, James, and I appreciate you calling. That I was in your position when I was young, man. When I went off to college, I was dating a girl, and I'd lost my virginity to her outside of a bowling alley, actually. And people were throwing rocks at us and all kinds of shit, and it was a different time back then, and it was more of a rural time. There's more gravel. But, and I was jealous, and I couldn't get over the jealousy. And it really had nothing to do with her. That just had to do with me, And here's the thing, yeah, you can get out there and experience more dating, more sexualness. There's that opportunity, man. That is out there. That's out there for you if you want it. But there's something nice if you love someone that is hard to find again. It's hard to find. I believe that. I believe that is hard to find. You can't just always fall in love. You can date somebody and make a relationship, but you can't always fall in love. Like, that's really the tough thing. So I think you have to look at what you have. Is the grass greener out there? I don't know. And only you know that for yourself. If you're honest with your girl, you could say, look, I feel like I need to explore more things. You could tell her that. I'm not ready. I want to sow my oats a little bit. You don't have to phrase it like that so it's sexual, but you could tell her that. You could let her know. Because if you just were to cut ties with her, then that's tricky. then she's not going to know why. She's not going to know what's going on. And getting earnest with her is really where you're going to be able to prosper, even though it's going to be the tough part. I want to listen to your call one more time. The second half of it. Here we go.
Before. The same is it's not the same for her. She did not lose her virginity to me. She hooked up with several guys before she met me. And so basically, I don't know how I feel about potentially spending the rest of my life with this woman and, not ever having sex with anybody else. Part of me thinks I should be okay with this. That perfect 1-0 record is probably something a lot of guys wish they had. But for me, it's just like, man, there's so much out there sexually, so many sexual experiences that I feel like, man, I might be missing out on. Right.
Okay, and there you go, man. And so I just wanted to hear it again because sometimes I'm kind of ignorant, and I got to hear it again. That 1-0 record is good. Look, man, there's something beautiful about that bliss, man. About that ignorance and it's not ignorance, but the sexual ignorance is, because here's the thing. You get out there, you start comparing, you start contrasting. Now, I hope you're not you're comparing things to pornography. If you're doing that, you got to hold that line, bucko, because the things that happen in pornography are not happening in regular people's sexual activity. You see pornography and it's, it's all that action. And they got elbows and titties and, people with, freelance buttholes and all kinds of activity. But in real life, dude, it's fucking awkward. And, somebody just had dinner and they had capers and they got a belch and it's fucking, you had a Pepsi and there's dog shit in the corner of the room. And there's, there's a lot of there's the reality. This one's a tough one for me, man. So I'm going to put this one out to our callers, and I'll chime in on this one next week because that's a real deal. That is a real deal when you're out there. And, I had a girl that I was in love with in high school. And, and I lost my virginity to her. And I lost my virginity behind, a bowling alley standing up. And people were throwing rocks and all kinds of shit at us. Very Gaza Strip, if you will. And... But I remember being jealous that this woman had more partners than I had. But it didn't have anything to do with her. That was all on me. So the jealousy, if you have jealousy, it's your thing. Now, how do you handle that and deal with that at your age? Who knows? I don't know. I didn't handle it well. I was angry at her. I resented her. But I had no tools for solving any emotional or relationship problems. I had zero tools. I was flight or fight or fuck. I think maybe might be the third one. Or just fiddle. And I would just kind of fiddle with my fingers and just be, kind of loitering and be awkward and shit. And I also hid outside of a girl's place one time and petted a cat out there in South Carolina doing some light stalking, and I will apologize for that. But let's put that one out to the callers, man. We'll put that one out to the callers. If you have some suggestions for James, 985-664-9503. That is the hotline. This past weekend,